The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Jesse to my Heisenberg, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I am distraught, Garrett. We are recording this episode 2 days after the 91st Academy Awards. I'm heartbroken to say for the 10th time, our girl, Diane Warren, was denied what is rightfully hers. 10 nominations, 0 wins. Fuck you, Oscars.
I thought that was hilarious. Her award shelf is just as lonely as her heart.
That's the problem. Now I'm really going to have to insert myself into her life and woo her to happiness as outlined in, I think, the Christina Aguilera episode.
Tim proposed that he was going to somehow slow play and or grift his way into Diane Warren's life, a multi-award nominated pop music writer and millionaire. I don't remember exactly why, Tim. I think it was to bring love and joy into her heart, a real Krabappel situation.
Yes, exactly.
Tim, have you initiated Operation Ivory Weasel?
I have not initiated it yet. I have purchased some non-refundable plane tickets, so I'm doing this.
I think that your timing couldn't be better. She is very vulnerable, emotionally, of course.
You make it sound like this is some sort of scheme. It's not a scheme.
Well, let me ask you, do you intend to fall in love with and marry Diane Warren?
I'm not sure about marry.
You guys might just live together? You're not going to get any of that sweet pop money.
That's okay, Garrett. This is not about me. This is a completely altruistic endeavor. I feel terrible for Diane Warren.
You should.
I just want to make her happy.
Tim, we're 3 minutes into this and way off topic.
Okay, well, this week we are talking about the best Shaggy 2 Dope album, Hot Shot, released August 8th, 2000. We finally went full reggae.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I feel like we got like the Backstreet Boys of reggae.
And that's completely accurate.
And just to clarify, Tim, it was not Shaggy 2 Dope. It's Shaggy, full stop, and his 2000 release, Hot Shot.
This was suggested by Mr. Bradley Brown, and from the two of us, I would like to say, fuck you, Bradley Brown.
Tim, do you hate this album?
I do. This is terrible, it's gross, and I hate it. But what about you, Garrett? Do you hate this?
I, Tim, can say unequivocally and without doubt that I don't hate this.
I am gonna get you there.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna get you there.
I think you are going to have to really apply some elbow grease if you intend to get me there this week. Let me be clear. I don't like this.
You love this. You love Shaggy. You love his stupid album. You love his bad music. You love this album. Do you know Shaggy?
I mean, what do you mean no? Have we met? Is that what you're asking?
Well, we'll start there, yeah.
Maybe.
You're not going to give me a yes or no on that?
Well, it kind of depends. Where are you going with this? I don't like to air some of... Tim, we have a public life and a private life. Unlike you, not all of the information I share is strictly personal.
Okay, so you have a very private life that involves Shaggy, is what I'm hearing. All right.
I'm saying it may or may not.
If it didn't, you would say no. You are doing private things in your private life with Shaggy. Are any of these songs about you?
No. Me and Shaggy are not doing private things.
You're doing them publicly. Have you heard this before?
I have to admit, this did have a few songs that made their way onto one of my infamous mixed CDs. If anyone's confused what that means.
No one's confused, but okay.
We could have new listeners, Tim. As a high school gentleman, I had tremendously low self-esteem, but a bizarre over amount of confidence, if you can have such a combination. And so I would often drive around with my music very loud to mixed CDs comprised of almost entirely unforgivable music, among which were 3 Shaggy songs on one CD.
Which 3?
I will reveal them in the song by song.
So your shot has been hotted.
Oh, my shot's been hotted so hard, Tim, that I have a deeply personal, intimate, and dare I say, red hot, sexy story to tell for one of those songs in particular.
Oh my God, you've been doing private things with Shaggy.
I've not been doing private things with Shaggy. It is a story from my youth.
Oh my God. What did he do to you? What did you do to him?
I don't know why I wanted him, but I did, and I had him. No. Tim, is this the first time you have been exposed to Shaggy?
No, I had obviously heard Bombastic, and it wasn't me. I always kind of considered him as sort of a novelty act due to his weird voice. Like your Monster Mashes or your Macarenas, I always imagined him as sort of this one-hit wonder.
Up until this week, I thought he was.
A lot of the songs on this sounded familiar, but as we'll get into, it has nothing to do with me ever hearing these specific songs.
Well, my history is storied and will be revealed over the course of the podcast. Yours, brief, but at least a personal awareness. But what's more important, Tim, is that we understand the man himself. Take us to the start and let us know the history of one Mr. Shaggy.
As I do, please feel free to cut in with any tidbits, with any... let us know when his relationship with you started. Just fill that in whenever it's appropriate.
I have never met Shaggy. There is no relationship. I do not like that you are proposing that me and Shaggy had a long-term physical relationship.
Garrett, it does not matter. The point is...
I feel like it matters.
Orville Richard Burrell, known to some as Shaggy, but referred to me exclusively as Orville, was born in 1968 in Kingston, Jamaica. The name Shaggy came from the Scooby-Doo character, and in the research it wasn't exactly clear when he got this nickname. Some of our sources made it sound like it was a stage name, and some made it sound like it was more of a childhood nickname. He took to music at a pretty early age. At the tender young age of 18, Orville moved to Brooklyn, New York, where his mom was living, and he began performing with some other Jamaican musicians, most notably Gibraltar Music. He was pretty poor, so he joined the Marines in 1988 and became an artillery specialist stationed in North Carolina. He would frequently drive up to New York City to record singles and became sort of a minor local hit in New York City in some reggae circles.
Already I got respect for the guy. He's driving 18 hours. I believe that's probably both ways from his army fort, Marines, his Marine, from his Marine base all the way up to New York. Boy, he really would have benefited from the internet. All the way up to New York to record singles and demos, really. All the way back down every weekend. Impressive.
In 1991, duty called and he was sent on a 5-month tour to Kuwait and Saudi Arabia during the first Gulf War. I couldn't find exactly where he was stationed during that time, but it is very possible that my parents had Orville over for dinner.
What?
Several times, probably at least once a week during the Gulf War, my parents would have soldiers from the nearest military base come over and do laundry and take an actual shower and have dinner and whatnot. Whenever I was, we'll say 6 years old, I may have met one of Garrett's future lovers. That's crazy.
This has to stop right now.
It's not
you
gonna
cannot
stop.
imply that I am making love or having love made to by me or Shaggy. Tim, I'm not okay with this. Is this going to be the source of a great deal of fan fiction I will or am soon to find in a dresser drawer?
I don't know, Garrett. The listeners, they send me things. I tuck them away in drawers.
It's always in your handwriting.
Well, it's from the internet. I have to transcribe it.
Right.
Not the
for
point.
reasons.
Yes.
So that it fits in a sock drawer.
Yes. Once he returned home, he resumed those recording sessions, including doing a cover of the ska song Oh Carolina. That was a minor hit in the US, but was a #1 single in Europe and was used in the Sharon Stone, Billy Baldwin, Tom Berenger film Sliver.
It's a sexy film, Tim.
I'm sure it was. It was 1992 Sharon Stone. Oh, you meant Tom Berenger.
No, I didn't.
His debut album, Pure Pleasure, because of course that's what it's named, was released in 1993. His record company releases a compilation album made up of some of those early singles called Original Doberman. He releases Bombastic in 1995. That album went platinum. It won him a Grammy for Best Reggae Album.
1 million people bought that album from one song.
In the US. The single for Bombastic sold over 2 million copies worldwide. It was a #3 single in the US. It was a #4 single on the Dutch megacharts. Garrett, he was even a hit in the Neanderthals. Is that right? Did I get it?
That is not correct. Close, though.
God damn it.
The Neanderthals.
It's weird because it doesn't start with a D. Bothers me.
I could see that.
The New Times asked him at some point what bombastic means. Orville said it's just a slang word used in Jamaica. It could mean whatever you want it to. When I say in a song, Mr. Lover, Lover, it means I'm a bombastic lover, a fantastic lover. So who the fuck knows?
Does he live in a Seussical rhyming world? I think I want to be Shaggy.
I mean, yeah, you do. In 1997, Orville released Midnight Lover, which kind of flopped, and he was immediately dropped from Virgin Records. After he gets dropped, he does a duet with Janet Jackson, Love Me, Love Me, for the How Stella Got Her Groove Back soundtrack, and he records Hope for the Love of the Game soundtrack, which are Garrett's third and, I believe, 11th all-time favorite movies, respectively.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Orville then signs to MCA Records and releases the album of the week, Hot Shot, in 2000. The lead single, Dance and Shout, was a complete flop. But then a Hawaiian DJ stole It Wasn't Me off of Napster and just began playing it on his radio station. Orville became a national hit in 2001. At this point, Virgin is pretty pissed that they got rid of him. So they put out a compilation, Mr. Lover Lover, The Best of Shaggy Volume 1. In 2007, he released the album Intoxication and also performed the official song of the ICC Cricket World Cup.
Okay, way to go, rest of the world.
In August of 2008, Geffen and MCA each released separate best of albums. Then in 2011, Shaggy and Friends and Summer in Kingston are both released, including the song Fired Up, Fuck the Recession, featuring enemy of the show but friend of Garrett, Pitbull.
Nope, we actually had a bit of a falling out over some real estate.
Miami real estate?
Tennessee.
Oh, well, I can see him not being that interested.
Quite the opposite, Tim. Stole it right out from under me.
2013, he released Of Many, One Music, which was partially sung in English, Spanish, and Arabic, and then guest vocalists did Russian, French, and Bulgarian versions of some of these songs. And then in 2018, Garrett, 44876, a collaboration album with Sting, was released and won him his second Grammy for Best Reggae Album, and it will be episode 103 of this very show.
Probably. You read it so quickly, I want you to say it one more time so that everybody listening at home will understand exactly what you're talking about.
In 2018, Orville released 44876, a collaboration album with Sting.
It won a Grammy, people.
Orville is no longer a military man, but in 2015 he offered up some thoughts on defeating ISIS, if you'd like to hear them.
What if ISIS moves into your neighborhood? What does Shaggy think I should do about it?
The right music evokes emotion. So if they're listening to Shaggy music or reggae music, they're not going to want to cut anyone's head off. When you're listening to reggae, you only want to do two things: get high and have sex. High people don't want to kill nothing. They want to love. They need to bag some Jamaican weed and distribute it among ISIS. I guarantee there will be no more wars. Make sense?
He's not wrong. I mean, maybe the Shaggy part is a little over the top and self-indulgent, but the rest of it kind of adds up. Can you give a country a contact high? Can't we find some way to weaponize cannabis and put it into the water system? Would that be so bad?
I think you're thinking about it wrong. What if it were some sort of weed bomb? Whenever the bomb hits, Garrett, of course it's going to kill everyone within, we'll say, a 5-block radius. But then it emits...
That's a big radius, Tim.
It's a large bomb.
Okay, go ahead.
But then the people outside of that get hit with some sort of mushroom cloud of marijuana and radiation, and they're all high and they're,
falling
organs
apart.
are failing. Point is, these horribly irradiated high people are not going to want to cut anyone's head off.
Sure,
They're going to want to, what did he say? I believe...
Get high and have sex.
Yeah, so they're going to want
Shaggy.
to get high, have sex, and also vomit a bunch of blood. I mean, they're not going to want to do that, but they're going to be doing it because of the radiation.
Right. I'm curious how radiation entered the mix. No one ever said nuclear.
No, of course not. That was something I added. Also, it's a very small nuclear bomb, Garrett. 4 blocks. These are tactical nukes.
Don't give me the tactical nuke speech, you son of a bitch. If you were going to start weaponizing...
Hold on.
What?
You have a better idea of how to get people in the Middle East high than tactical nukes.
Of course.
I'd love to hear that.
Well, you could just drop an alarming amount of seeds all over the country. It's called weed for a reason.
It's going to be all shitty weed.
Poor quality?
Yeah.
All right, then I will indulge your, what did you call it?
Tactical nuke.
No. Contact bomb?
I did not call it that. It was a tactical
contact high munition?
Oh, I like it. Yes, that's what I said.
The CHM.
Yeah.
So when the contact high munitions are deployed, we live in the age of vaporizers, Tim. The Juul is a multi-billion-dollar company and is helping millions of people to quit smoking even today. You may have read some negative press on the news, but what I want you to understand, Tim, is that an addiction to nicotine can only...
You're doing a read.
What do you mean?
They actually contacted me first. I said, sure, but here's the thing. Give it to Garrett. He'll do the hard work. So they're actually splitting the money ahead of time. I get half of this money. So go on. Do your read for Juul, you fuck.
I hate you so much. I just want to smash your face.
Look, you said on the advertising thing, I could put our email address in there. I put my email address in there. They all come to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I said we could put the show's email address, hatePodMail@gmail.com.
You did not specify.
But I shouldn't need to, Tim. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because it's our show. Technically, it's my show. You work for me.
Go back to your Jewel read. I don't remember what we're talking about.
No, I'm not even going to finish it. I don't want you to get the money. Fuck Jewel. We're talking about the CHM, the contact high munitions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think combustion is truly necessary. If we could create some sort of vaporizer gun, you could just blast them.
We could vaporize them.
No,
Wait.
I'm not talking about reducing their atoms to nothing, you psycho.
Death ray.
Right, I'm saying no.
If you bring up some sort of vaporizer gun to the U.S. military, they are going to build a death ray.
Yeah, you know what? Good point. Okay, so it's combustion, sure. Maybe a flamethrower that's fully internal and then just blasts out the exhaust.
Okay.
I like an explosive. I am willing to have some number of casualties to end the war on terror.
Okay, good. We can start there.
5 blocks and then a 30-mile radius of radiation sickness and death is not acceptable.
Okay. Well, I mean, it all depends on the wind patterns, Garrett. It could be far less than that. It could just blow out into the desert. Of course.
It could blow back over to North America.
Yeah, that's what I'm just
Tanked
thinking
all of
about
us for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say we take radiation off the table. What's the really big one that they just...
Moab.
They did... Moab, right.
We shouldn't do
Mother
that.
of all bombs. That's
Giant
too big
bomb.
too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you were the one that went tactical nuke. You think that's somehow smaller?
Tactical.
God, you are stupid. Traditional bomb, then, let's say it takes down a single building, but for every building it takes down, you get 10 square miles of, I don't know, just like so high you can't talk to these people.
Okay, and how long does it last? Because once
30 days.
Oh my God, they're all going to starve.
Well, here's
to
the
death.
beauty part, Tim. If we can reduce the footprint of casualties down to a single building, there's nothing to say you can't continually drop on the same location.
Yes, well, here's the problem. They are all going to starve to death.
Oh, right. So, okay. First plane has these weird getting people high bombs. Second plane, Shaggy. Third plane.
He's just going to make love to those people. All of them.
No, not the physical man. Copies of the CD.
Oh, yes, that's good.
Third plane, ham sandwich.
All right.
That should cover it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. Is there anything left to talk about Shaggy's history?
No.
Great. That brings us to the part where I have to ask Tim, what do you think of this album?
I don't care for it.
Sure.
90% of this is stolen.
90's too high.
Okay, like 60. 60% of this
Okay, hold on. I checked. All of these are attributed. People were paid. That's not stealing.
Not in every case. He was sued for at least one.
My apologies. Lied to me again, Shaggy.
That's all he does. Tells you you're beautiful.
Oh, he'll tell you whatever he thinks you need to hear in order to turn it into a sexual situation.
He's a bad man. Boggles my mind why you love this so much.
Okay, again, I have to point out, I don't love it. I just can't hate it. Let me ask you objectively, what should Shaggy be?
A Marine.
No. I mean, what should a Shaggy album sound like?
I don't know. It's so unrelenting. These songs are exclusively about how much he likes banging.
To a ridiculous level.
I'm pretty sure if his musical career hadn't have taken off, he would be one of those like pickup artist seminar guys. You familiar with this? You know what I'm talking about? Just giving tips on negging and keno and peacocking and short-circuiting women's emotional and logical minds to idiots.
Whoa.
And here's the thing.
Hold on. You are way too familiar with all of those terms.
My point
What's
is...
happening? How do you know all that?
It doesn't work. You'll spend $2,000 on a weekend seminar. It's going to be taught by somebody calling himself Mystery. And sure, you'll come out of it more confident. But what does that confidence get you in the end? Yes, you'll be getting laid nightly. But what was the original question?
The instructor's name is Mystery?
Yes, always. Oh, yes. Sorry. This album, it's the musical equivalent of catcalling. It's proud sexual harassment made into pseudo art. Lena Dunham does not approve. Although she did admit to me, we went out for wine, had a little white wine this week, and
oh boy.
She will...
Was that Tuesday? Because you came in sassy last Tuesday.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, you were saying stuff that I didn't even hit you because I knew you didn't even know what you were saying.
Yeah, that's why I like to stay drunk. It lessens the strikes. Yeah. She did admit that she finds him handsome, so perhaps she approves of him as a person, but not his creepy methods and words.
I couldn't agree less. I think these are sexy jams to get down with your lady to, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I think I understand where the disconnect is. Okay. Might be hard for you and I to connect on this one. The music. It's fine. It's music.
It is music.
Yes, it's reggae R&B. Reggae and B. The music is music.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go as far as to call it authentic reggae, though I would call him an authentic reggae singer.
And I think that is to his detriment.
My greatest critique is the voice. I didn't recall it being so incredibly weird.
So I want to know, is this his actual voice?
Yes, it's his speaking voice coming through in a reggae style of singing. It is only when he attempts to sing, like full-on sing, that he loses it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's authentic.
So in the Marine Corps boot camp, was he shouting, "Sir, yes, sir," in that voice?
Yes. I know.
You know what? I'm back on the Shaggy train.
Did his voice remind you of anything? Because I've got some comparisons.
I was calling them throat farts.
Nobody's ready for throat farts. Wow, that's a great name. I almost don't want to even get into it, but I have to, because it's maybe the basis of my entire negative critique for the album. First example, it is sort of like a Barry White in a room filled with helium.
I mean, sort of. He definitely has a baritone as well.
It's very phlegmy, though, right?
Yeah, like a
big glass of
phlegmy
milk.
fart that's coming out of his throat.
Oh, God. No, it's definitely like he got done with a huge glass of milk before every song. Or, Tim, how familiar are you with the prequel Star Wars movies?
Very.
God, is that true?
No, I've seen them maybe once each.
Me too. I think we could call Shaggy a Jar Jar Binks after puberty.
That's perfect.
I don't remember it exactly. Please get hair downstairs and sound more like Mr. Lova Lova. Jar Jar Binks puberty, man, which then got me thinking, too.
Oh my God.
You know how everybody hates the prequels, specifically the first one, and specifically Jar Jar Binks?
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader was a kid.
I love it. Another round of prequels focusing on him.
No, you fuck.
Oh.
Could it have been that Jar Jar Binks was actually just also a child and was just an irritating child?
But he was a senator.
Oh, Senator Child. I was just hoping to propose that maybe Jar Jar Binks grew up to become Shaggy.
So, okay, here's the problem, though. In the context of this being a post-pubescent Jar Jar Binks, you're still on board.
More on board with Jar Jar Binks, less on board with Shaggy. That is my one critique. He does sound like Jar Jar Binks post-adolescence. And that is hard to get over, but I also came to embrace it, Tim. Who else sounds like this guy?
Nobody. I think that's part of the...
Charm?
No, oh God, no. I don't know who you are.
I'm a guy that was forced to listen to Shaggy for a week and managed to find a way to enjoy it. Deal with it.
So you have some sort of Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, definitely. I have a lot of emotions tied up in this album that go back decades before you and I ever even set foot near one another.
But is that possibly clouding your judgment?
Yes.
Okay.
Tim, I am nothing else if completely honest when it comes to the fact that I am at times totally biased and hypocritical.
Yes.
At times.
In an interview with Huffington Post, Shaggy claimed divine inspiration for his songs. He says, "I was telling somebody yesterday, Mr. Bombastic, it wasn't me, Angel. These songs, I didn't write these songs. These songs were written by a higher being. It was ordained through me." Is he kidding? Is that a bit?
I want to think that he means that I just sat down and they came out.
None of these songs are very long. They all feel so long.
They're tough to sit through. Even the hits. I honestly do believe this album is sold to people who want to find an album to bang to.
Sure.
Otherwise, why does it exist? Although, I think that part of the reason this album exists is because Shaggy spent a great deal of time writing songs that were more leaning towards the interconnect intercourse enthusiasts, if you will. I think somebody figured out I can still write those songs, but disguise them as completely innocent songs. Because if you listen to the music, Tim, they're all very upbeat. It's not full of swears. And you can even listen to, I would venture to say 50% of the lyrics are very innocent. It's only when you've got the transcripts in front of you. Tim, you and I were doing a real Chris Hansen this week. Or at least I know I was. I had the transcripts in front of me, and when I saw what this man was actually saying in his rapid Jamaican speak, that's when things got pretty troubling. Why don't you have a seat? Would you like a cookie? Are you Squid Muncher 74?
Ew.
Did you bring the videotapes? I miss you, Chris Hansen.
Yeah, but he got that guy killed in Dallas, so...
He's actually still doing the show. It's now called Predator...
They're still taping them. They're just not airing them.
He's still making the show. There's just no cameras. No, I learned the other day. He's still doing it. It's just called something else and possibly on only the internet. Tough to say. My defense is, I think the music is for people to bang to, most likely, or conversely, parents that aren't paying close attention and girls that just want music to dance to. Or none of it is terrible, Tim. It's not unlistenable. They're just not my style of music.
I think once you put that voice in there, it gets borderline unlistenable. You want to get into the songs?
Yes, sir.
Track number 1, Hot Shot.
I didn't think it was possible. Stealing the crown from Lil Wayne for the new grossest way to say intercourse. Congratulations, Shaggy. And I quote, "Come let me discombobulate your parts."
I had a question with that. The line is, "I love you walk, and I even like the raunchy way you talk. Come let me discombobulate your parts." His particular brand of sexual intercourse is going to leave her vagina and other lady parts confused? Is that a good thing? Should the goal of intercourse be to confuse uteri?
What do you mean confuse? Like a math quiz?
That's what discombobulate means.
Well, okay. Did you recently look this up?
No.
Okay, those are your lying eyes. Obviously you did.
Means.
Wow. I think what he means is he's going to give this woman's innards quite the jostling.
Okay.
Discombobulate the organs from vigorous lovemaking.
Well, then gross.
Well, not in a gross way. It's like a car accident. Listen, I'm not supporting it, okay? I would never say that. That's horrible.
I feel like the only reason that word is in here is because it sounds funny sung in his voice.
Well, in his defense, everything sounds funny in his voice.
That's true. He's also trying to bang married women.
Well, yeah.
You is part of the plan. I notice you finger she wear a wedding band. No bother. Think say this is just a one-night stand.
Okay, I'm glad and sad you picked those lyrics because it's really difficult to understand him. Even when you are reading verbatim what he's saying, some of the words are slang and not real. Tim just attempted to read it, and I'm going to attempt to read it just to give you guys context. I don't think I'm going to fare any better. I notice pon you finger, she you wear a wedding band. No bother, think say this is just a one-night stand. No think I man a look you fee a slam. I mean, it really just devolves into gibberish at the end there. It was difficult to draw out meaning from lyrical content from song to song.
Absolutely.
As you mentioned, Tim, he's saying gross stuff.
He's discombobulating women's insides.
He is on the prowl, and he's banging.
He's banging through this whole thing. There's never a point at which he is singing that he is not also inside of another person.
That's a great point.
Have you ever tried singing while inside of another person?
Define singing.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying the next time you are inside someone, try singing. Anyone really. My point is, the next time, try reciting some Shaggy lyrics. That might just be the way people's voices are. I've never tried saying Shaggy lyrics before while inside someone.
So are you proposing that during every note sung on this album, Shaggy is climaxing?
Not necessarily climaxing, but in the sexual act.
Okay.
But we could, I mean, this could be something, we could farm this out to the audience. While they are inside someone, they would like to, or while someone's inside of them, they could recite some Shaggy lyrics and let us know, does your voice have an appreciable difference in tone?
And while we're talking about appreciable, let us know how the other person in the room appreciates what you're doing.
Yeah,
so
I'd love to know that
while
too.
You're in each other, sing some Shaggy. Hashtag in each other. Hashtag sing some Shaggy. Hashtag sing some Shaggy in each other. Hashtag SSSIEA.
Other starts with an O.
I was very close. I did that on the fly, you cunt.
Track number 2, Lonely Lover, featuring Professor T. Garrett, do you think Professor T would be...
No.
Okay.
You stupid bastard. It's a rapping name.
Right. No, I'm saying, do you think it would be a cool nickname for me if I went by Professor T?
Yes.
Excellent.
Do you find yourself in a professorial position often?
I do.
Then yeah, you should say everyone calls me Professor T.
I will.
Or Prof T.
We
or
don't
PT.
know what that prof stands for.
I think maybe it's just prof.
Yeah, but there's a period after it, so it implies...
It's an abbreviation.
Yeah, maybe it's Prophet T.
I think it's just profit.
I don't like that.
P-R-O-F-T, profit.
Proft.
I do manage to understand what he's saying by the third song, but in this one, I was really fucking confused.
I have a theory that he just has a really bad stutter and also has a really good producer that just works with it.
Kind of like the situation you and I have.
Yes.
Tim has a bizarre vocal tick that anytime he says and or thee, he says it 3 times. So every time you hear and or thee come out of Tim's mouth, know that I have deleted 2 of them.
If I don't say it 3 times, something horrible might happen to my mother.
Sound logic. Tim, does he say give me a little bit of lovin' or give me a little lick of lovin'?
Impossible to tell.
I tend to think give me a little lick of lovin'.
Well, he does like licking stuff, and then sometimes he doesn't like licking stuff. He's a complex man. It's rare that we hit filler on the second song of an album.
Is this the one where he just doesn't want to be lonely?
Yeah.
Something along these lines?
Yeah, he says, can't take the fuss and the fight. I rather make sweet love to you under the candlelight. I don't mind when you say that you're going away. I just don't want to be lonely. So he'd rather bang than argue or not bang.
Wouldn't everybody, but I think he's saying he doesn't mind if she leaves. He just wants to see her once a day and presumably bang.
Right.
Well, that doesn't seem so bad.
Reasonable request is what I'm getting from you.
I don't know if every day. People have things to do.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
you make a time. Everyone has a lunch hour.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth intercourse. You know me. But if it was demanded of me every day that I must, no matter what, you know what? Actually, I take that back. It's still probably not a problem. You're right. Point taken.
Track number 3, Dance and Shout, featuring Pee Wee Herman.
Hold on. What in the holy fuck are the Jackson 5 doing on this album?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was influenced heavily by Michael Jackson, which is real weird.
They've just taken the Jackson 5's Dance and Shout.
Is it actually from that?
Oh, no, they redid it. For some odd reason, whoever owns the rights to the Jackson 5 needed the money enough to let Shaggy re-record it and put it into this pile of shit. You know, I say that, Tim, but I mean, you saw me. I danced pretty hard to this album.
Yeah, you did a little skanking too, which is kind of weird.
I was trying something out. This is when I began to wonder, is this album trying to appeal to the masses as an innocent and fun collection of songs that is secretly a soundtrack to fuck to? I give you the lines. Feel the pow. Let me put the groove in your hips. The night is young, so let's go roll with the fun. You got some gum? Check it out. Gimme some. So when you get from feel the pow, let me put the groove in your hips, your dad might be like, God, Shannon, what are you listening to? By the time you finish that sentence, you're at, you got some gum? Check it out. Gimme some. Oh, okay. It's just about gum. Nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
Because I'm about to play an old girl like a drum. Wait, she's singing about back there? Just calm down. He's talking about really banging this chick.
He says everything in the absolute grossest way possible.
I'll say it's graphic.
Gonna holla to my fellas who be hanging by the bathroom door, waiting for honeys, dance on the dance floor.
Is this a strategy used by men at clubs?
I don't know, but it
They're
sounds
just
like a
waiting
great
outside
strategy.
the bathroom?
Yeah, because you know whoever's coming out of there, you're gonna be a lady. You don't have to worry.
Sure. Worry.
Well, I mean, if you're into ladies, the ladies' room is the place to go,
Well,
right?
not in the ladies' room.
Well, no. I know. Right outside of the ladies' room, the concentration of ladies is going to be much higher than on the dance floor. There, you have to compete with dudes. But if you're right by the ladies' room, it's going to be a constant stream of ladies.
Right. Who all need to go to the bathroom.
Or are coming out of the bathroom.
That's not a bad idea. Catch them at their most relieved. Who doesn't feel good after a nice pee? I mean, I have no use for this information, but it does seem to be a lot less insane than when I read it.
Yep.
It almost makes more sense to try to hit on them while they're in line to go into the bathroom, because where are you going to go?
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. You know what? I like this. He will kick you out of the party and I couldn't tell if it's your dance moves or your sexual moves aren't up to his standards.
I think it is both.
Or possibly if you're not willing to have sexual intercourse with him in a manner he finds pleasing.
He says, girl, don't be a drag. I might show you the door. I think the implication might be a bit more of a Corey's Angels situation.
Oh, no.
Tim, nobody there is forced to have sex with Corey.
No,
they all have. Of course they have, but it's been their choice.
I think Orville has a lot of similar implications on this album.
Right. However, he is not a 5'7" Michael Jackson impersonator with very little talent remaining in his poor and difficult husk of a body.
No, he's a large, intimidating man.
Who I think the ladies think is, dare I say, pretty fly. This guy likes to let you know his fuck style. I mean, do I even need to say it, Tim? It is, in fact, buck wild.
Yes, but here's the problem. If you're going to that house, you're going to bang it, right?
Yes.
And he's going to be weird about it. He says, I like to see bodies take and shake, dressed in lace and a perfect shape, girls local and out of state. I got a couple of them and I'm getting ready to mate.
Runner-up for 2019's most grossest way to say intercourse. Getting ready to mate.
Yes.
Congratulations, Shaggy.
The discombobulation thing is still the worst, right?
Oh, yeah. I said runner-up. He is valedictorian and salutatorian of being gross.
You still love this album.
I do not love it, but I do not hate it, Tim.
Oh, you hate this thing. You hate it.
We have 11 songs to go. There's a lot of time to get there. Track number 4, Leave It to Me.
I don't like the way Shaggy laughs.
It's not sinister, it's knowing.
Yes.
It's a knowing laugh, and I don't like that he knows and I don't know, and he's laughing that he knows and I don't know. Now, not shockingly, Tim, this one goes out to his lady.
Well, sure, and I like the way he keeps it vague. I'm sure there's a bunch of ladies that are thinking, oh, he wrote a song for me.
Speaking of vague, we often ask the question, is this song about banging? Let me thank you, Orville. There is no question whatsoever what the following lyrics are referring to. Set the motion to the ocean, cause some commotion. I'll hit you off now with some hot oil lotion. I play it safe, so let me break out my Trojan. A lot of surprises in that verse.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Did you think that this was a man that practiced safe sex?
No.
He seems like the sort of gentleman that would mock the use of a condom. However,
he is still alive.
Right. So. Yeah, his penis is not fallen off. Although, granted, I mean, he seems like the sort of guy that has, 80 grand? So a little Hep C is no big deal to him.
Oh, I thought you were... I thought it was going to go to some sort of penis reattachment thing.
Oh, no. You need a lot more money to get one of those put on.
That's not true.
Yeah, a second one?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
There's just no copay. That's an all-cash situation.
That's true.
Very limited market that provides a second penis. It's just greedy. Anyway, the implication in this song is heavy. Earlier, I defended Mr. Shaggy and his pursuit of ladies and his compulsion, dare I say, to banging. Mm-hmm. But in here, let me read some lyrics. Mansion in the hills and not another house for miles.
You gotta isolate him.
Please stop smiling. Now let me take you and show off my pet reptiles. There's no one for miles. Come look at my pet snakes.
So he's not talking about his penis there.
It's plural.
In my version, It's not. The lyrics I have says show off my pet reptile.
I will say, ever since the Ratitude episode, I have been adding errant S's to words that have no business having an S on the end of them. Yeah. Looking at you, River Cuomo. Cunt. Let me finish the lyrics that make it very clear this woman better get with it or he's going to have her struck by a cobra, or, as he goes on to say, intruders, I'm going to feed it to my Rottweiler. No interruptions today. I also have vicious dogs, and I do not plan to stop.
And then he says, leave it to me and have things my way. I don't think it's quite as sinister as you're saying. I think what he's saying
hold on, you just glossed right over that. Leave it to me and have things my way.
Yeah.
Your input is neither desired nor valid. Did you see the snake.
I think he's not going to force these women to do anything. All he's going to do, he's going to isolate them, and he's going to let them know he has a violent Rottweiler, possibly a snake, possibly just a penis. And
I think it's a cobra.
He's not going to make them feel unsafe if they don't bang him. But if they find themselves feeling unsafe with the situation, he's just going to use that. And Garrett, it always works.
What do you mean use that?
If the situation that he's created, if that makes them feel unsafe, he's going to go with that feeling. He's going to comfort them. He is going to get inside them. But he's not making the situation unsafe. It's just an implication, Garrett.
So the implication is that it's a dangerous environment because of these external forces, i.e. dog and snake.
And not being able to leave. And a person who is very clear that there will be no interruptions.
Sure, he did mention that. And I feel like he didn't say you can't leave, but we all heard the door lock. Do you think, Tim, that Shaggy might be in an unfortunate situation that he cannot, and I'm not saying this, I want to be very clear. I am not saying that Shaggy must have a live cobra free in a room in order to have intercourse with another person successfully. I'm not saying that. People are saying it, sure. People are saying
the idea has been floated that he needs danger to achieve an erection. And so he's got a Rottweiler that may not even be his. He says it's mine, but I mean, he may have just gotten it and let it loose in the house. It's real angry. Better get to it before that thing finds us.
I think you're mostly right. I want to amend that slightly. And again, we're not saying this. He can achieve an erection, Tim. It's about the possibilities. There's no better erection builder than dreaming of the possibilities. It's then how many for Shaggy.
That was a declarative statement said with such confidence and knowing that...
Well, did you listen to the album?
That's true. You're right.
The no's are what chop down that erection. So he's putting forward scenarios. And if you take the live cobra off the table, well, then yeah, maybe things aren't going to happen. But it's not that he wasn't hard. He just...
Jesus Christ. We're going to move on from everything you're saying to more descriptions of intercourse with Orville. I want to send chills up your spine. I let you feel good inside. That's a little troubling. And explode, just like a landmine. I'm here to conquer and thrill, and that's my mission. Lovemaking with timing and precision.
It's that military background is what you're hearing. Classic artillery, man. He finds his target, he sets up his trajectory, his angle of approach, and then he hits his target. In this case, a woman's vagine.
Yeah.
Tim, I have to ask you again, why are we doing this album?
Because it's terrible, Garrett, and because it was suggested by a Brad.
Oh, that's who suggested it. This does feel Brad-esque. Not the Brad, folks. We still haven't heard from him. If he's reached out to anyone from the show, let us know. Ex-intern of the show, Brad, is at college, presumably, though we have not heard from him since October. In any event, a lot of this music is about fucking.
Yes.
Why did you want to discuss this with me?
I don't understand what you're implying.
I feel like you have put me in a situation where I have to have detailed conversations with you about intercourse.
Yes.
So you don't deny that.
No, I mean, that is where we are at. I admit that.
Okay.
Yep.
So what is your motive?
Track number 5, Angel, featuring Raven.
The first song that was on that infamous Garrett Harvey High School mixed CD, Angel.
Did you know then that it stole the bass line from Steve Miller's band verbatim from the song The Joker and then steals the entire chorus basically from Angel of the Morning?
I knew it stole the chorus from Angel in the Morning, and despite being a real obnoxious fan of Steve Miller as a younger man, I didn't catch that till college.
So you were still listening to this Shaggy song in college?
No, I stumbled onto the mix CD. In college, listening to Shaggy.
Because I knew you in college. So let me ask you this. By how many days did I miss knowing the Shaggy version of Garrett?
11.
Whoa. This whole podcast this whole friendship, really. This whole living together. I may not have a house right now because, as we all know, I cannot afford a 2-bedroom apartment on my own.
Well, it's not about cash on hand. It's your credit, friend.
It's both, Garrett. It's both. The point is, none of this might have happened had I met you 11 days earlier, because I would not have been friends with a Shaggy.
You'd have been right to turn your back on me.
We try to make our podcast not an absolute terrible experience for listeners. I wish he had the same courtesy. Orville and Rayvon just talk over each other for the entire intro, and it's fucking terrible.
In their defense, would it have been any better if you understood every word of it?
No, cut the whole thing. That's what we do.
Yeah, they could have used a good editor. That's a good point. I used to sing along to this song, Tim. I knew every word before this week. A song that features both Shorty and Peeps, and I was, even at the tender age of 17, able to not go crazy and mock him. I would take girls on dates, Tim, and play this.
I mean, at least you weren't playing the discombobulation song or singing about how you want to mate with them.
I would mention my intentions to mate, yes.
Well, but you wouldn't say it like that, right? I mean, I had a whole contract thing. I was very aware.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, I was very aware of consent and making sure it's all in writing and everyone understands everything. I would invite them to bring a lawyer along because I want them to make sure.
Sure. Part of safe sex is full legal coverage. I don't ever have intercourse without my lawyer present. In the absence of my lawyer, because you don't always know when you're going to find yourself having intercourse, it's at least good to have a third-party witness. Someone objective, ideally a stranger.
As long as you know for a fact everything's on the up and up, if you just videotape the entire experience start to finish in secret, that way everyone knows.
Yeah, it's
a good record.
You're not using it, you're not looking at it, you're not showing anybody, you just keep it in your back pocket for a rainy day in case anybody starts pointing fingers down the road.
Exactly.
It's just smart.
I mean, you maybe watch it a time or two, though, in between now and then.
Maybe you watch it every day. Track number 6, Hope, featuring Mr. Midas, a.k.a. Prince Midas. If you're giving yourself silly names, why wouldn't you make yourself fucking Emperor? It seems like a thing you'd do.
Emperor Tim.
Prince Tim. Emperor Garrett. No, you wouldn't be my prince, though. That's weird. You'd be like my head of state. Or who's the guy that goes down in case everything just goes to shit?
I don't want to be that. It's gonna go to shit. I've seen
Fall
you
guy.
rule.
Yeah, but it's pretty good times in the interim. You remember the gluttony?
No, the gluttony was great. The gluttony was great.
Yeah.
The weird Shaggy orgies. I'm into that.
You were not supposed to talk about that.
But this is a powerful and uplifting song about being raised in poverty. Is that what I'm supposed to get?
Yes, that's exactly what this song is about. Does he in any way mention that he wants to bang someone?
I don't think so. We're 6 songs in. We finally got one where he's not banging somebody.
It might be the only one.
It might be. We'll keep. We're keeping a tab. We'll give you a full
bang report.
Yeah.
The Why I Hate This Album bang report. Subscribe weekly. Tim, you're in charge of the bang report.
Done. I've been writing it for weeks for nobody.
That's what you've been leaving on top of the toilet?
Have you not been reading the household bang report?
Tim, I didn't know what to make of those percentages.
I'm so proud of it. I put so much of myself into that report.
Listen,
literally and figuratively.
Don't elaborate. I will say it's clear that a massive amount of calculation has gone into those reports, but I got to tell you, friend, I can't make hide or hair of those abbreviations, acronyms, or statistics. I don't know of any report that benefits from going out to 6 decimal places, and what do those numbers even represent? It could in any way be related back to intercourse.
I'll go through it with you. We're going to have to look at it together to truly get it. But I do want to say I found a whole Pinterest page about how inspirational this song is, and I think that's appropriate because most of the lyrics on this song would be appropriate, like on the poster of your sad HR cat lady's office. And he says, in order to achieve what you need, you can never give up.
And Tim, this begins the march of the platitudes. Like you said, it's an uplifting tale of working hard and keeping your eye on the prize. I have a severe aversion to uplifting songs. I think it was the absence of them in my childhood.
That sounds right to me.
I didn't have any of the traditional Disney exposure. I saw Aladdin in the theater and Beauty and the Beast. And that is pretty much the start and finish to my Disney film experience as a child. When I am forced to listen to these Pixar, like this was written for a couple of bugs to dance around and learn a couple lessons to.
And it would be magical, but I don't want to listen to it. Track number 7, Keeping It Real.
Maybe the most dated sounding song we've done on the whole podcast. Keeping it real.
That's true. The lyrics of this song do not represent him. They come off sounding like Republican talking points. It starts off with this dream big. If you work hard enough and don't ruffle any feathers, you will definitely be rich someday. It might not come right away. You might have to work really hard and not get anything for it for a very long time, but eventually you will really be rich. In the meantime, have you tried oxycodone?
Wait, what was that last bit?
Oh, sorry. That will make you feel better about not being rich, as promised, in the meantime, until you do definitely become rich.
That sounds right. He says he used to fantasize about getting married as a little boy. Did you fantasize about getting married as a little boy?
Garrett, whenever I was 6 years old, I made a fantasy wedding scrapbook. Now, no, I didn't fucking do this. What?
I was really hoping you did. Did I mention the platitudes? This song relies heavily on there's always someone out there that has it worse.
Well, see, again, that makes it more of the Republican talking point thing. Look, you're real poor, but dump on the poorer guy. At least you're not as poor as that guy, so don't reach up any or attempt to change the way things work.
Right.
It's
well, you should never change the way things work. It's an awesome scam, and I want to give credit to both parties of our government for that.
If anyone is looking for somebody to maybe move up in this system, I volunteer.
That's not how it works, Tim. Did I ever tell you about my mother's use of the "it could be worse"? It was wildly disproportionate. For instance, my dog ran out into the street, he got hit by a bicycle, and he broke his paw. Could be worse. He could have been more injured or killed. That's a worse situation than what happened.
Sure.
Same situation. Mom, my dog ran out into the street, got hit by a bike, and he broke his paw. Well, Garrett, it could be worse. I read yesterday that there was a baseball coach that was just one city over, and he was taking the boys back after the game, and everybody trusted him. He would take them down and make them reenact the HMS Pinafore, start to finish, nude, while he took photographs. Afterwards, he would remove their feet, feed them to the boys, kept them alive for 16 weeks, and then finally made them walk on their stumps back to their parents' homes.
You know, what's really strange is that your mom has actually used that exact same example with me.
It's weird that she remembers it verbatim.
Look, a news story like that will stick in your head, Garrett.
It is not real.
My mom would do the "at least you didn't" whenever I broke my ankle after you greased up my rock climbing shoes and broke my ankle. My mom's immediate response was, "At least you didn't land on your head." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's great because you would have been DEAD.
Yeah, fucking feel bad about my foot.
That's true. You would have been dead and would have had zero pain whatsoever. Conversely, a broken spinal column where you still would feel absolutely fine. But
well,
you probably would have died in my arms
case.
I wouldn't have to do anything. You would need a respirator immediately or be completely out of air within the next 2 minutes.
What level it's... Look, you sever my spine at T1, Garrett. Smother me immediately. Don't even think. You have my permission.
You sign the contract. I get to pick the means.
You should smother me, because otherwise it still counts as murder. And in fact, not only does it still count as murder, even though we have that contract, but that contract will be used against you in court.
Well, they're going to have to figure out a way to get into my safe deposit box.
Garrett, I have a copy too.
Why?
I like to have a copy. I like to read it sometimes. It makes me feel safe.
That you get to kill me if I have a catastrophic accident that leaves me in a vegetative and or incapacitated physical state?
Yeah, why would I not have a copy of that?
Why would it make you feel safe?
Because
I now feel very unsafe.
Okay, we should move on. We're getting off topic. Track number 8, Love Me, featuring Samantha Cole. He traded Janet Jackson, who was on the original version of this, for Samantha Cole. I guess a contract negotiation fell through.
Yeah, this is also on the mixed CD, though I will admit that I didn't listen to it much. I actually only downloaded this song because it has the hook in it, the "Ooh Boy, I Love You" song. I was a big fan of that from the DJ Ray song Secret Admirer. It was from 1993, so don't feel bad, folks, if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But the the exact same hook is in that song, and so I knew it as a little kid.
Well, it's Rose Royce. Is that the original artist on it?
I believe so.
Some lyrics. Who the man that love to make you moist and wet? Who the man that love to make you moan and sweat? Who the man love to make you scream out yes? What was Stella Got Her Groove Back about?
A woman going to a tropical island and banging a younger man.
Okay, so this fits perfectly with that.
Yeah, it's a perfect song for this.
Some more lyrics. Girl, you're unique. Girl, you're unique.
Forever, you and I, anytime we hear girl, are going to think of either Milli Vanilli or at least the sound engineers that recorded the talking parts of that album.
Absolutely.
Girl, you know it's true.
Girl, you're unique. Now let me take a whiff of that sweet physique. I don't know what that means.
Taking her in. Her essence.
Right. But how do you smell physique?
Oh, you can smell physique.
I want to throw rose petals to your humble feet, lay you gently on my sheet, and sexercise you to sleep. So that's not good.
Tim, you're swaying me right back to liking this album, or at least not hating it. What's wrong with that? Sexercise, humble hips, what are we talking about?
Because I'm the lady's choice, and the girls get moist for the sound of the baritone voice. You get that. You get that. He refers to women as succulent in this song, Garrett.
What if somebody said that to you and then killed you?
Said what?
The last thing you read. Read it again.
Because I'm the lady's choice, and the ladies get moist for the sound of the baritone voice. You get that. You get that.
Stab. What a horrible last moment on Earth. What did it mean?
Yeah.
Who was that man? Was that Shaggy?
It was Shaggy, Garrett. It's always
Did Shaggy just stab me to death?
Possibly. Step in my caravan of love. Dem ever wet kisses with dem brazen hugs. Brazen is a weird phrase for this.
Maybe it's a classic Tim hug. Hips first.
I do hug with my hips. I lead with my hips. And now, your sweet, silky body on my Persian rug. I don't know if you've ever banged on a Persian rug, Garrett, but that will,
That'll lower the value for sure.
Yeah.
Those things are expensive as shit to clean. When you say Caravan of Love, I cannot help but think of the classic single, Can I Borrow a Feeling? Let me sit in your glove of love, 'cause this heart needs some healing. What do you say, Luann? Will you take me back? No. Oh, Kirk. Track number 9, Freaky Girl, featuring The Craft.
Searching for pleasure. I want you to meet me wherever we're in just enough.
That's a Keanu Reeves character, right?
I just kept picturing Bob Kraft, owner of the Patriots, octogenarian Bob Kraft.
You know, that actually does make sense. I don't know if you've read about him in the news recently, but he is not banging. He's getting tug jobs down in Florida at
I heard it was a threesome he was trying to set up.
Well, maybe.
I mean, he owns the fucking Patriots. You better believe he's doing a threesome.
Look, he's not a sleazy guy. He's just going down to Florida and getting massages, and while he's there, he's nude, her hands are oily. Let's get a tug job going.
I mean, it is one way to remove excess oil.
Yeah.
If you've got the entire body covered with oil except for somebody's genitals and you're like, oh, geez, I'm sorry, I've used way too much oil and I'm out of towels. Well, there's only one part of my body that's dry. You may dry your hands on my genitals if you have to.
And they have to, Garrett.
If you're Bob Kraft, they do. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Jesus, that guy is litigious.
This is a song where both Orville and the Craft are specifying they don't want to get to know you before finding out that you're not their type sexually. They want a freak. They don't want somebody that's conservative. They don't want somebody that's not going to do weird stuff with them.
I thought he might be breaking up with a woman.
He is breaking up with somebody for being too conservative. However, that's not a reason to write a song. The reason to write the song is to inform future women.
I see.
I don't want to deal with that first half of the thing where we get to know each other and you're like, yeah, I don't really want it. But they know they're gonna, but they're not going to enjoy it. The point is,
Goodness.
up front, want to do some freaky stuff.
Oh,
not
yeah,
me,
Tim,
not me.
Probably, but I don't want to know about it.
Orville and the Craft.
We've heard 7 tracks of him lusting after, successfully banging, and then bragging about how he's going to bang more later. I think he's built himself up onto a Tower of Babel of sexual excess to where he now is just letting people know up front, I have to get really weird. I mean, live Cobra free in the room weird if this thing's going to work out at all.
Oh, absolutely. He's got handcuffs, he's got whips, he's got chains, he's got some sort of weird meat meetup where he's just wearing or she's just wearing an overcoat and a hat, which let me tell you, Garrett, you think that's a good idea, but you will almost always run into your boss. He's got some sort of urgent business meeting that he needs to go to, and he wants you to come with him because you're the only one that knows the pitch to the company. And then you get in there and you've got your overcoat, you've got your hat, but it's kind of weird. Fucking
Deborah,
settle in.
It's got to be 79 degrees in here. Take off your overcoat, darling.
Absolutely. And then you do. What are you going to do? You're going to tell your boss no? No. He's like the Shaggy of your life. You got to do what he says.
You need this job.
But you're completely nude under that overcoat.
Yeah.
As an adult-aged male, I don't want to say man.
No.
If you are able to successfully make a business deal while totally in the nude, they love that deal. It takes all the showmanship out of it, right?
That's true. If they were ripping you off. They're fully erect and they're like, I'm thrilled. You'd be like, what's going on here? This is suspicious.
You know what? Perhaps all international relations meetings should be done with heads of state fully nude.
Yeah, all the cards on the table. If you have to, we can start in a steam room so it's not weird. But yeah, let's just get out there, guys. Balls out. Let's just get them out. Or ladies. I want to mention that the craft is just straight up stealing Michael Jackson's sound.
Yes.
Other than that, he wants to do weird stuff. God, chains and whips.
It just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, I'm a good sport. I will try it out. But it's also a lot of setup.
It becomes so much setup that at some point you say, fuck it, and you get a room. That's what it leads to.
Yeah, a room is a problem.
It's a solution to a problem, too, because as you're saying, you got to get your Iron Maiden out. You got to get this, the whole fucking...
Iron Maiden? Isn't that the thing that, with the spikes inside, the sarcophagus?
Yeah, some people...
The thing that Batman gets in 1989 that turns into a big slide and he goes into the Batcave?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Adds a whole new dimension to 1989 Batman.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a sexual thing for him.
It was a Batman thing?
Yeah. Track number 10, It Wasn't Me, featuring Ricardo Rick Rock Ducent. This song was inspired by an Eddie Murphy bit from 1987's Raw, and obviously steals blatantly from the song Smile Happy by War. For this song, he did not have the money at the time to pay for the War sample, and he did get sued.
I didn't even find that in the dossier. Not shocked. We are still with our current producer and septuagenarian lead researcher, Gino.
This one really seems like a novelty.
Yes, I think it's supposed to be fun, a little tongue-in-cheek, but still sticking to a lot of the Shaggy-esque themes. Tim, this is the third and most important song on the Garrett Harvey Super Ultra Mega CD mixtape. It will always hold a very confusing and possibly damaging, I'll let the audience and you decide, part of my mind. I put this on a CD and went over to a young lady's house. Now, this young lady, I was 17 years old, in high school, she was also 17, had invited me over to ask if I could help her with something that she was doing to enter in an art competition. So I go over there, and it turns out what she wanted, Tim, was that I was the art project.
Oh.
I love that that's a revelation to you.
I have never heard this. I would never have expected this.
I don't know what you're expecting to hear, because there's no way that you know how this story is about to go. Okay, so I go over to this girl's house, and she's like, well, okay, I didn't want to tell you till you were here, but the competition it's like I said, it's an art competition, and I have an idea, and I want to paint a landscape on your face.
I mean, this is exactly how I thought this was going to go.
Interesting. And then I want to take a photo with several mirrors around your face. So I was like, well, okay. I'm 17, you're pretty, and you said please. So sure. Well, then she said, well, I don't want to get paint on your shirt. I was wearing a collared shirt because I was a very put together young man then. She has me lie down because she's like, this is going to take several hours. I'm going to paint an entire landscape on your face, and I'm entering an art competition. So this is going to take 5-6 hours. So feel free to lay down. So I was like, okay. So first she removes the collared shirt. So I'm now lying down on her floor with my eyes shut because she's painting my face. And after a while, she's like, oh, this angle's kind of bad. Do you mind if I lie on top of you? And I was like, sure. Keep in mind, my eyes are shut. They're covered in paint. I don't want to ruin this. Well, then she gets a little paint on my pants. And she offers, classic. Oh, these pants are really chafing me. So she's like, oh, I got paint on your pants, but hey, we can wash them. We still got like 3 hours to go, and they'll be dry and ready to go before you're ready to go. Hey, great. So she takes my pants off, and did I mention I'm 17?
Yeah, you're fully erect.
I'm fully erect, but my eyes are shut because she's painted them
so
shut.
You don't know if you're erect or not.
No. Technically, no. Because I don't know when she's is or isn't in the room. My eyes are painted shut. I don't know if anyone else is in the room. I don't know if I'm being set up on some sort of elaborate prank. I'm now in a room with my eyes painted shut, fully erect.
Yeah, this does seem like a trouble area, like some of the cool kids.
It sounds like the opening to a Saw film.
No, this seems like some of the cool kids are going to dump pig's blood on you or something.
She comes back after she puts my pants in the washer, which I would later learn she didn't do. And she is clearly aware of my erection. She does confirm it with a giggle, which again made me very suspicious. She continues painting my face for another 2-ish hours. And during that time, Tim...
So you're getting close to the Levitra or...
Yeah, priapism?
Yeah. Close to the point whenever somebody's going to need to take a needle and deflate you.
Correct. Very close. All the while, again, I can't stress this enough, my eyes are shut. I have no frame of reference for exactly what's happening. I have to take her word for it that this is all on the up and up, and she's just painting my face and didn't notice my huge boner. But she grazes it occasionally when she's moving around. But again, I have no idea what's happening. It could be her little brother or her dog for all I fucking know.
Brother.
Luckily, it wasn't those things. And without any warning, any words whatsoever, the painting stops and I was going to say my boxers began to move down, but that's not true. You know the hole on the underpants? Mm-hmm. That got utilized, and I'm happy to say sexy things then commenced. However, I'm 17. I've got a very shallow amount of experience in this realm, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I'm 17. It's through the hole. My dick is basically numb. It's been 4 hours.
Yeah. There's a good chance happening.
I really wasn't certain what was happening. Luckily, it all came to an end as you would hope it would.
As I would hope.
If you were in that situation.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway. I'm not saying that you hope for me to have satisfying orgasms.
That is what I was hoping for.
Tim, I will say this one more time, and I'm glad it's a public setting. Do not think about my orgasms. Don't even think about them.
You're
Don't wish
telling
them well.
me stories that end in you having an orgasm. You can't hold me to that.
I was trying to dance around it, you pervert. A couple PSs on this story. One, the painting wasn't done, by the way. That wasn't just a thank you. That was a break. She finishes the face, wins first place. So somewhere there is a photograph of my face with a cemetery painted on it on a day that, I didn't even mention, Tim, this mixed CD that had 3 Shaggy songs on it played on a loop the entire 5.5 hours I was on her floor. So technically, Shaggy, mission accomplished, pal. There's no way I can hate this album. Shaggy got me, what is that, third base?
Well, I don't know. Not 100% sure what went down. I just heard sexy things, and I don't need to know.
She filleted me, Tim.
Okay. All right, Jesus. But again, you don't really know that. Was it her?
Technically, I don't know that.
Was it her?
Actually, okay, so I do know that. The other postscript to this, I wanted to make sure everybody knew that Shaggy was playing, specifically, it wasn't me, at the start of the sexiness. The other PS is, I returned to this young lady's house. Now, Tim, do you think she had to paint my face? Because I was terrified that was her thing. Or that she had low self-esteem. Who knows? That's a difficult time for all of us. And I thought that she was going to have to paint my eyes shut.
Well, you should have just come with your eyes already painted shut. Make her feel comfortable, Garrett.
I'm out in the car. What are you doing? Sealing my eyes shut. Happy to say she did not require a 6-hour makeup session before we fooled around.
Picture this, we're both butt naked, banging on the bathroom floor, is the lyrics. Genius annotation, very difficult to do as your knees are in extreme danger. You need to at least have a rug down on the floor or some knee pads, especially if it's a ceramic tile. Although, to be fair, cleanup is extremely simple, and then there's a picture illustrating knee pads.
Who has knee pads for sex?
Well, Garrett.
Tim, did I ever tell you I lost my virginity on the floor of a bathroom?
Public bathroom?
No, God. I'm an animal.
I want to stop talking about you banging on bathroom floors and some sort of weird eye paint fetish.
Go on. No, what? That's not for me.
What if that translated into that being your thing?
Oh, God, that's so elaborate and specific.
That is some Red Dragon shit. That's
What?
Okay, you're in my bedroom. I'll be right back.
Can I be anybody else's bedroom?
This is you.
Oh,
the two
okay,
of us are
go
not
ahead.
involved in lovemaking. You are with a nice young lady, and you set her down on the bed and you say, I will be right back to discombobulate some of your parts. You walk off to the bathroom and you paint it over your eyes so they are shut, and you come out and be like, I'm ready. That is Red Dragon-esque.
I don't know.
Okay, you come out of that bathroom and your eyes are painted shut, and you come out and you say, I envy you. You get to witness the becoming.
Okay, now.
I am not allowed to witness the becoming, so I have painted my eyes shut.
Now, let us make love. Yeah, I could see how that might be weird.
Let's talk a little bit about this actual song.
I thought we were.
Rick Rock has been making love to a woman who is not his lady, and his lady comes home. He's given her an extra key, and she comes home, she opens the bathroom door and watches for quite some time.
To completion.
It's implied that she is standing there for 10, 15, 20 minutes even. I don't know how long sex takes. Perhaps one of those numbers.
Perhaps.
And then he's coming to Shaggy for advice. His advice is essentially say that it wasn't you in general. You misunderstood. You didn't see what you saw. That wasn't me. But then to really drive it home, start lying to her about everything. Never admit to anything that she says. Always say it wasn't me. Genius Lyrics believes this to be a reference to William Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew.
It is not.
It might be. That's essentially what that's about.
I doubt it, though.
No, probably. Attempt to drive her completely insane so she is no longer mad at you for making love on the bathroom floor, sofa, shower, on camera.
The camera is never explained.
There's also a clean version of this.
What?
Picture this, we were both caught making love on the bathroom floor.
Is that better? Honestly, is that better? Hey,
Yeah,
Tim,
well, it doesn't say but.
let me tell you a story about me and a person making love on the bathroom floor.
It sounds way worse. Saw me banging on the sofa is changed to saw me kissing on the sofa.
I don't want to hear about adults getting excited about kissing. That's weird, right?
It is a little weird.
What if I called you? Now I'm not a single man, but if I were and I gave you a call and I was like, Tim, I just got back from this date and we just kissed.
It would be far weirder if you called me as not a single man and were telling me about... So my girlfriend, who I live with... Tim,
You know her. We have just
Jesus
been
Christ.
making out. And not like, normal kissing, Tim. Like, we were really experiencing each other's mouths.
Or maybe just normal kissing. We were kissing, just like you do, but it was, it was good. It was good, Garrett.
Oh,
having
God,
a
I
good
would
time.
stab you in the fucking clavicle just to end the conversation.
Track number 11, Not Fair, featuring Tony Rude Seawright.
I've been going down on you. You're not going down on
You know what,
me.
Tim? The Rude Boys gave us trouble on Sublime, and they're right back here in this song to let us know, in the great words of Hall and or Oates, I can't go for that when it comes to cunnilingus.
Yes, it's weird, because most of the other songs he talks about licking, it seems like he would be there for the lady's pleasure, and in this song, she says, boy, what have you done for me? I've been going down on you, you not going down on me, to which he says, girl, that's just how Rude Boys play. I don't have to take you there. I can please you in other ways.
Why is he so proud of his refusal to reciprocate sexual pleasure?
Because he's a rude boy, Garrett. That's how
Listen,
rude
folks.
boys do.
Well, okay, you know what? That's true. From everything I have experienced with Rude Boys, this is right on script. I want to bring up something, and Tim, you and I, we don't get preachy about anything. We don't make any wild accusations. We try never to spread gossip, just the facts here on the show. So let me lay down some facts. Sexual relationships are complicated.
Absolutely.
Whether you're on the counter or the floor of the bathroom, then in the shower. The name of the game is reciprocity. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. The golden rule does apply to your genitals. It
Okay.
takes two people to shake hands.
You talking about shaking genitals?
Of course.
Yeah. He talks about shaking genitals a lot in this song.
It sure does.
If you want the job done right, you have to use the proper tool. You've never been loved until you've been filled full of pleasure from the rude boy's skill. Full up your cup till your juices spill. Leave the door open just for the thrill. You're at the point where you can't keep still. That's the effect of a lover man's pill.
Pill?
Pill.
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 What pill?
Wiener. It's talking about his wiener.
That's a terrible euphemism
Absolutely.
for a wiener. Again, I am so creeped out you picked this album. He sings, "Tell me why you want to tease me, baby. Don't you want to please me? Why are you holding back when I know what's on your mind?"
This is something a Brad wanted us to discuss.
Yeah, this does feel Brad adjacent. It is starting to wear on me a little bit, Tim. It's 3 songs too long, and did I mention we have heard the best songs?
I would argue it's 14 songs too long. Track number 12, Hey Love.
Just 25 and I'm not ready yet. Let's make a deal. Give me some time.
You can't get married at 25. It's just not a reasonable age. It's absolutely crazy for a woman to ask you to get married so young. You gotta think it out, make sure you know who you are as a person. Never before, 27, could you get married.
It's a narrow range.
It is a very narrow range. 25 is, he says 25 is too young, right at the top of the song. But then he says, come back at me in a couple of years.
Well,
that is somebody that doesn't understand time.
He says 2 years or more. He wants to get his fuck on indiscriminately.
Sure.
For
it's
at
about
least
volume, really.
Yes, for 2 years or more.
I think that's fair. Sort of a Rumspringa fuck style.
Yes, exactly.
Fuckspringa.
Exactly. It's kind
Did you hear my joke? Fuckspringa?
No, I understand.
It's very fun.
I understand portmanteau. He specifically bangs women that rejected him when he was in first grade. I understand the idea of like, I was in high school, I was small, I looked like a 12-year-old, but I had like a 9-year-old skin pulled tight over my terrible skeleton.
You're clearly talking about me and I don't appreciate it,
No.
you fucking hassle.
My point is, it would be crazy of you to go back, now that you're a semi-respectable adult male, to go back and like try to bang those people that wouldn't bang you in high school.
That's true. I agree.
But-
so let me ask you, why are you always attending those annual, and I'd never heard of this, the annual high school reunions? Why are you attending those again?
Like to see the boys. I have a very Entourage-esque clique of people that I hung out with in high school.
Oh, that sounds right.
Mark
The
Wahlberg is
boys.
there. He produces the whole affair.
Mark Wahlberg produces your annual high school reunion.
No. He just produces. There's a group of 4 of us, and he produces our portion of it.
What does that mean?
Well, like he supplies us with alcohol. He makes sure production values are high, up to HBO standards.
What do you mean production values?
Well, just that everything looks good. It sounds good. He likes the audio quality to be. It's not important. The point is, it's not
I don't
about
know
banging people in high school.
Sounds like your thing might be.
Did you ever figure out what the lady singing in the background was about?
Oh no, I put no time against it. Track 13, Why Me, Lord?
Situation's looking kind of bad. I lost the best girl I ever had.
94 why me's. That is too many.
That's at least 90 too many.
No, it's like 62 too many.
You are a forgiving man.
You've read the book, Garrett. 32 is okay if it's a why me.
The book about how many times you can say a word in a row. Now, this is 2 words. Is there a new edition, Tim, that has phrases like why me?
Short phrases, yes. Why me is in there. He breaks the rule anyway. If he only said it 32 times in the song, it would still be too many times in a row.
I got to get the new edition that has the phrases because I only have the individual words and then I have to do the conversion and give each one a weighted value based on its type of word it is. And it's a mess and my grammar is terrible. So I can never get it to add up to what does it have to add up to? 91? In order to use it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do we think Shaggy is driving around with a gun and ammunition?
I don't think in real life, but I think in the song.
Oh, well, yeah, in the song, obviously. There are certain portions of this album, Tim, that are provably false. Like the fact that he may be rolling around with a gun and a bunch of ammunition. Now, Shaggy's not doing that. He's being driven in a lovely car and probably has a lovely woman with him.
Yeah, he's getting a hand job in the back.
So we kind of have to wonder on those portions of the song that we can't actually confirm. Perhaps he's not the Lothario that you and I think he is.
He is.
Oh, Well done, Shaggy. Are you sure? I mean, well, just because he wants to be doesn't mean he is. Do you think that the women do respond in kind?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well done, Shaggy.
Let's move on. We're so close.
Track 14, Chica Bonita, featuring Ricardo Rick Rock Ducent.
He says that he doesn't understand Spanish, right?
Yes.
But then he sings in Spanish.
Right, and then he says, I literally don't know what that means.
He can speak it, but he can't understand it. Is that like
Tim, there's many languages I can speak, but I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's like a reverse Chewbacca, where he can understand English but not speak it.
Yes, that's a weird way to get there, but I'm glad you get it. This sounds almost nothing like the other songs. He sings on here. It's one of a couple of songs he sings briefly. It's not good.
No, it's not.
He sings several lyrics in Spanish, claims to not know what they mean. They just sound nice. There's really not much to say here. It's kind of funny to listen to, and I'm not going to lie, Tim. I borderline enjoyed this song from time to time.
I mean,
just because it's so ridiculous.
Different.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like the rest. It starts with like a chica bonita. It's borderline Cuban Pete. All right, Tim, let's not belabor this thing anymore. How did it do?
It did pretty well. This sold 9 million copies worldwide. Sextuple platinum in the US. It made it to number 1 on the Billboard 200, where it stayed for 6 weeks. Canada, German, New Zealand, UK all hit number 1. Only made it to number 3 on the Dutch mega charts.
Bummer.
It was the second highest selling album in the US for 2001, beaten only by Why I Hate This Album's own Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory. In total, he has sold approximately 30 million albums.
That's remarkable. I would never have guessed that. Any good reviews?
I've got a couple. Robert Christgau listened to this. He didn't write anything. He just gave the album a frowny face emoji. Amazon, it has 110 total reviews, 4.5 out of 5-star average, 73% 5-star, 6% 1-star. A giant percentage of the good reviews detail people stealing the album, usually from the owner's car, and them having to get another copy. And I assume the people stealing these albums are just sick of having to hear some jackass play Shaggy every time they're in the car, and so they're just doing away with it. The first one is from 2001 by Natalie, and it's called Fun. It's all in caps. I'm not going to scream it.
Thank you.
When I bought the CD, I bought it only for one song, and that was Angel, because I fell in love with it when I heard it on the radio, so I was a little sketchy buying it because I only liked the one song, but the CD turned out to be so good, and I thought it was totally my money's worth because there are no more artists anymore that come out with happy music unless you like pop anyway. It's a really fun CD to listen to and a little bit different. Angel is the best song. I love the CD. It's great.
Wow. Not a lot of punctuation in that. I'm not even sure if there were spaces.
And then this is from 2009. It's by Daniel Hayes. It's called A Total Loser of an Album. I usually don't read reviews that start out this negative, but I really want you to hate this. My wife had this album, and she felt she needed it to be cool. Honey, let me tell you, owning this album doesn't make you cool. It's mindless ska rhythms and a warbling voice to go with it. I'd give this a 0, but there's no rating for a 0. From the late 90s up till today, music just hasn't been the same. This will definitely, in my opinion, go down as the worst album of this decade. I know that Shaggy was a Marine, so I just want to say Semper Fi, but this album is horrible.
Small shout out for our Marines.
That was 1 out of 5 stars.
Tim, I don't disagree with anything he said.
I'll wait you out, Garrett. This episode is not ending until you hate it. We'll go through all the songs again if need be.
Oh, we just released part 2 next week.
Who knows what iteration of this episode we are on currently? This might be the 3rd time we've gone through it.
Might be the 300th.
Hate it so I can stop.
Who's this for?
Apparently everyone. I can't believe how well this sold. I might be wrong. It might be for everyone.
I agree. It does appear to be for everyone. It's not a great album, but I'm trying to think of myself as someone who heard, I don't know, let's pick Angel on the radio, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go buy the Shaggy CD. There's nothing on there that makes you just go, oh man, I really wasted my money if you liked Angel enough to buy Shaggy.
Sure.
Now, if you just stole 3 songs off the internet and then had a questionable sexual experience with a stranger, that's a different ballgame altogether. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right, friend?
Sure, yeah.
Final thoughts.
It's 55 minutes of, and again, I won't say offensive things, but it's some of the grossest statements I've heard on an album on this show to date.
Yes, I agree.
The discombobulation, the moisture.
Oh, the moisture, Tim. And you can keep the door open. I think that's like underpants or pants or skirt.
Oh, no, I think he's just leaving the door open, and if people want to walk by and watch, they can watch. Maybe somebody else will
lend a hand, join in.
Yeah, or just, it'll put an idea in somebody's head. They'll be like, man, that guy's fuck style was in fact buck wild.
Or perhaps he's just always trying to make sure that there's a witness or a way for the cobra to get out.
Or in.
The music, while not good, is as advertised. Most songs are no better or worse than the hits, the ones that you've heard. I will never seek out any of them. Maybe Chica Bonita.
Chica Bonita! You just like the one bit at the beginning.
Yeah, I'll probably just listen to the first part, maybe make it my ringtone.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, let's get down to brass tacks. Do you hate this album?
Yes, Garrett, I do. I hate it. But the big question here, Garrett, did I get you there?
Well, Tim, it's a bad album. I won't ever listen to it again.
God damn it, we have to do this episode again.
The vocals do sound like post-pubescent Jar Binks, PPJJB, sorry. The content is gross. The words are gross. There are gross ways of saying fuck. Just say fuck, it would be less gross. Or bang, or bone. But no, I don't hate this. Tim, I can't hate it.
Why do you love this so much?
That's not what I said. I don't like it. I will never listen to it, but I have no hate in my heart for this. This is no Ratitude. This is no Chemical Romance.
Garrett, he's going to take a woman to a house miles from any other house. And he's going to show her a snake and a real angry Rottweiler. And then there's not going to be any interruptions. They're going to be left alone, and he's going to have things I'm going to tell Lena Dunham that you are okay with this.
You know what? I'll defend it. Call it nostalgia and
pretend you did not receive fellatio to one of these songs.
All right, let me try to get in that headspace. 1 second. Okay. Yes, I hate this.
Yes.
Damn it. Oh, but I don't, though. I can't hate it. I don't like it.
Oh.
It's so ridiculous. It makes me laugh.
I will take the you would hate it without as a you hate it.
Without the nostalgia of a ridiculous story.
Yeah. So we don't have to do this again.
We don't have to agree. All right, folks. Thank you for listening. As always, reach out to us. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Tell us funny stories. Maybe you have a ridiculous story where a strange woman painted your eyeballs shut and then did unspeakable things to you while you may or may not have been mocked by your friends and peers from school. And you can do that by going to hatepod.com, clicking on contact in the upper left-hand corner, or you can just email us directly at hatePodMail@gmail.com. We will respond whether you like it or not. Tim can't not do it. You can reach out to us on Instagram. Tim mostly runs that at HatePod. You can reach out to us on Twitter that I mostly run. That's Album HatePod. You can get a hold of us on Facebook at facebook.com/HatePod. All of those things are helpful. Rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't told somebody that you think would enjoy the show, tell them about it and then have them tell someone about it, because the only way we can keep doing this is if at some point it actually pays off. The reviews so far have been awesome. The emails are great. Keep them coming. Thank you very much for Why I Hate This Album. I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been and continue to be the other, Tim Richardson.
Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.